I would expect all of those cards to drop another 20 to 30% just based on the trends we've been seeing all around the market. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Sam Dunks, the weekly NBA show over at SlabStox. I am your host, Sam. Please follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at SlabStox, and then click that little red subscribe button here on YouTube as well. I'd really appreciate it. You have noticed it. I have noticed it. It's been a big topic of conversation all around the card industry lately. Base Prism rookie cards are plummeting, and they are. There's no way around that fact. We've seen huge drop-offs from Giannis's 2013 Base Prism rookies, Luka's 2018 Base Prism rookies, a bunch of other players as well. Today, I dove into some of the data to try to make sense of what's going on in our industry at the moment. So let's get into the numbers, and then I can show you what I've found out. Just to get our bearings, first off, I pulled up 4 different Base Prism rookie cards with PSA 10 grades so that you can see the pretty universal drop-off that's occurring once players exit the bubble. I chose 4 players whose situations aren't perfectly related, but all of whom experienced a great deal of hype within the bubble, and then who have all left the bubble and are now, kind of out of sight, out of mind. Those 4 players who we'll be looking at this time, in this order, are Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, and then Devin Booker, lastly. Another clarifying point for all of these price comparisons, I'm using the same date range. I'm using a range of August 13th through September 14th. That's today. August 13th was the second to last day of the NBA play-in round, which was, in my opinion, when NBA excitement seemed to be at a high point. It was also 1 month ago, so just a pretty convenient range for me to evaluate. So starting off with Luka Doncic. His 2018 Base Prism PSA 10 rookie card is selling most recently for an average price of $1,265. 1 month ago, this same card was selling for an average price of $1,988. That works out to be a 36% drop in price over the past month. Luka Doncic, who has looked every bit a future MVP candidate, future NBA champion, he put his Mavericks team on his back, averaging 31 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists in his first playoff appearance as a 20-year-old, pushing the title favorite Clippers to 6 games, and his base rookies fell 36%. Next, look at the most recent disappointment, my son, Giannis Antetokounmpo. 1 month ago, his 2013 Base Prism PSA 10 rookie cards were selling for $6,429. Most recently, these same exact cards were selling for $3,634. Huge drop-off. Percentage-wise, worse than Luka Doncic, but only worse by 7 percentage points. His drop over that month was 43%. Again, Luka's Base Prism market experienced a drop of 36%. Giannis, of course, really just disappointed against the Heat in a very similar collapse to what he experienced against the Raptors in last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Suddenly, there's a lot of questions about the future of this Bucks team and Giannis' ability to play in the playoffs, where he's going to play after this year. So the additional drop over Luka is certainly understandable. Next, let's consider a bigger drop, Damian Lillard. The NBA Bubble Seeding Round MVP award winner, his 2012 Base Prism PSA 10 rookie cards were selling 1 month ago at an average price of $2,850. Most recently, the same cards going for $1,113. That's a 61% drop in price, so quite a bit bigger than either Luka or Giannis. Perhaps some of that is due to the fact that he's 30 years old and a bit post-hype, although I think it might be reflective of the market generally just kind of not caring about him historically. Last up, Devin Booker. He was one of the big stories of the pre-playoffs bubble. His Base Prism PSA 10 rookie cards were selling 1 month ago for $1,411. Now they're selling for $889. That's good for a price drop of 37%. There's a lot to like about Devin Booker moving forward. Still, a sizable drop. So to recap, Luka dropped 36%, Giannis 43%, Lillard 61%, Booker 37%. My working theory going into the research for this show was that the Base Prism market is dropping so much simply because they're so common. And they are common. For instance, the PSA 10 population on Luka's Prism rookie is 13,378. That's by far the most common of the ones we've discussed. Giannis is sitting at 2,280, Lillard 589, Booker 1,146. So next, I wanted to look at the card performance from within that same time frame on cards that were much more rare. It was pretty much impossible to find comps for Lillard and Booker with enough sales, so I'm focusing just on Luka and Giannis. First up, Luka Doncic's second-year Prism Silver PSA 10. So this year's version, those were selling 1 month ago for $1,181. Most recently, $678. That's a 43% drop. The PSA 10 population on those is only 629, which is not even 1/20th of the size of the market of his base Prism PSA 10 rookies, but still a huge drop at 43%. Next, I looked at one of the inserts I talked about in last week's video. Not a short print again by any means, but still rare enough to make it worthwhile for comparison's sake. That's Luka's PSA 10 Net Marvelous insert from Donruss. Not nearly as many sales to go off of, but almost a month ago that card sold for $775. Now it's most recently sold for $535, a 31% drop. So in Luka's market, both for the super common and the much more rare PSA 10s, we're still seeing a big drop off. With Giannis, it's the same story. I looked at his 2016 Optic Holo PSA 10 card first. That's the first year of Optic. He has a PSA 10 population of 105 on that card. 1 month ago, that was selling for $1,075. Now $568, a 47% drop. I looked at his Net Marvels insert as well. 1 month ago, $540. Now $355. That's a 34% drop. Again, big drop-offs both for common and for more rare cards. Obviously, I could have looked at much more rare and gone with numbered cards. But for this exercise, I wasn't able to find enough sales around those dates to have an effective comparison. So, while there's certainly been a big drop in Prism base rookies, it is not alone. And we can see very similar huge drops in various cards that are much more rare. If we turn our attention to LeBron's first-year Lakers cards, we find the same exact results. His first-year Lakers Prism was from this year's set. That's 2019 again. 1 month ago, the base version of that card was selling with a PSA 10 grade at $500. Most recently, they're selling for $303. That's a 39% drop. That's on a card with a PSA 10 population of 2156, so not rare at all. The much more rare first-year Lakers card was his 2018 Select Silver PSA 10, and I'm talking Concourse here. So the least rare of the 3 Select cards is Concourse. There are only 29 of those available, though, according to the PSA Pop Report. And 1 month ago, they were going for $760, now $525, a drop of 31%. So regardless of common or rare, some of the biggest, recently most exciting players in the entire league, they're all plummeting. Now that's just one side of the coin. If we look at all of those same cards that I've mentioned and we backdate our research back to April 1st and we run through that same August 13th date, which is 1 month ago, over that range in which we saw a huge explosion in the NBA card market. Luka's base Prism exploded 366%, Giannis 336%, Devin Booker 880%, Damian Lillard 1,225%. Just huge increases. And in general, the more common the card, the greater the increase. LeBron's 2019 Prism base also jumped 310%. If we compare those price increases to the rarer cards that I've already mentioned, we see this trend continuing. Giannis's 2016 Optic Holo, 249% increase. Luka Net Marvels, 204%. Giannis Net Marvels, 164%. LeBron 2018 Select Silver, 150%. The Luka Doncic second-year Silvers did jump 481%, but those are also much more common than any of the other rare cards that I mentioned. So in general, the higher population cards have seen larger percentage increases. They've also seen large drops, but that's something that's been a shared experience across the entire NBA card market, even among the more rare cards. So what can we make of all this? If you're new to the card market, I would say first of all, do not panic. We do see this every single year. Not to this extent perhaps, but every single offseason there are sizable drops. For instance, Giannis's base Prism rookie last year during the Celtics series of the playoffs was selling for $507. Then 2 weeks out of the playoffs, they were selling for $449. That's an 11% drop-off. Not terrible, but a drop nonetheless. Last year's 2 big rookies had larger drop-offs, and you're not going to want to hear these prices. But at the beginning of last March, Trae Young's base Prism PSA 10 rookie was selling for $54. Near the end of April, it was selling for $38, a 30% drop. Luka, same card, same time frame, went from $85 to $65, a 24% drop. So, if the cards you're holding and we're hoping to sell are currently plummeting, you're not alone. Most cards are doing the same thing right now. It's happened before. It will happen again. There are several reasons for these movements, and I think it all kind of has to do with human nature. Anyone who is holding a card until the end of the season, unless they're holding long term, anyone who's holding the card and trying to sell, they're probably going to try and sell before the player left the bubble or perhaps shortly after. Now, a motivated seller will usually be pretty comfortable taking a few dollars less than the previous sale comp. So, imagine you're selling a Devin Booker base rookie. The previous sell went for $1,400. Someone offers you $1,350. You're probably not going to hem and haw too much over that $50. You want to move the card. You're motivated to do so. And you get enough people thinking along the same lines, trying to sell at the same time, and giving up ground on prices, we see big drops like this. Same thing happens on the flip side when you have ample buyers. One guy's willing to spend $5 more to secure the card, next guy the same, next guy willing to spend $100 more, and it just goes up and up and up. During the season, we rarely see such big drops outside of major injury, of course, and that's because you usually don't have so many people that are trying to sell their cards all at the same time. Now, an additional factor right now is that I think many people are generally growing weary of the NBA bubble. Don't get me wrong, the basketball is awesome. The games, every day, it's, again, awesome. But there's also a lot of other sports that are going on at the moment, and newer is generally more exciting. The newest sports card darling is, of course, the NFL. Nathan and Aaron covered that in a recent, the recent NFL card action in a recent video. A lot of the money being spent in that market right now has just been siphoned away from the NBA market. Once next NBA season comes around, the NBA will once more be the newest, most exciting thing. We'll have new rookies to chase. The market is going to come back. But big takeaway, don't let anyone tell you that the base Prism market right now shows you that they're bad investments. They do see more radical changes, but we're also seeing a sell-off all around the NBA card market at the moment, so they're not completely alone. Now, with the exception of LeBron James, all the players I've covered so far are only players that have been bounced from the NBA bubble. I did want to see what was going on, with the exciting young players that are still down in Orlando in the NBA bubble. I looked at Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Tyler Herro, and Bam Adebayo's base Prism PSA 10 rookie cards using the same time frame I did earlier in the video. Generally, they're all down, but very minimally. Tatum went from $885 to $795. That's a 10% drop. Jaylen Brown went $433 to $373, 14% drop. Tyler Herro went from $325 to $310, 5% drop. And Bam Adebayo hasn't had a card sold in the past week, so his numbers are perhaps a bit skewed, but he went from $479 to $575, a 20% increase over that time. I also pulled up Jason Tatum's Select Courtside Base PSA 10 to get a more rare example. That went from $1,594 to $1,650, so a 3.5% increase. So do we think that these four players are going to be the exceptions to what we're seeing all around the market and withstand a big drop-off? Probably not, and the time is running out to sell if you are planning on holding these only in the short term. There's a decent chance two of those guys do become NBA champions and might not experience a huge drop-off, but in general, I would expect all of those cards to drop another 20 to 30% just based on the trends we've been seeing all around the market. And then they'll all be big bounce back candidates early next season, so maybe you just wait. So in conclusion, we're seeing big sell-offs. Yep. I don't think it's permanent though. We've had many new buyers in the market. When the NBA season comes back next season, the buyers will come back and the prices along with them. If you need to sell based on your financial situation, you should sell. If you don't need to sell, don't sell. Just hold on to them. Wait till a month into the next season. You can likely recoup all of your profits then. All right, that is all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you again next week.